All right, so today I want to talk about building combined arms teams. I'm going to do it in the context of some things that are changing with the conduct of military operations around the world, because I think that broader context is important. And there's a bunch of trends that I'll cover, and then within those trends I'll look at some lessons from the Russo-Ukraine war, which is ongoing, probably going to be going for a while yet. All right, so what kind of world, what kind of army are you operating in at the moment? Well, it's one where there's a bit of change, but there's also a lot of continuity. Now you can buy books by the hundreds on all the things that are new in war at the moment. You know, books like Kill Chain, Sean McFate's stuff. There's a bunch of things and they're all great. The reality is not everything's changing. There's a whole bunch of continuities that you should be aware of. These are the changes. We all know them. Geopolitics, strategic competition, climate change, demography, really interesting. If you don't know about it, you should. There's a bunch of things that aren't changing. Okay? War isn't going away, regardless of what some of these decline of war theorists have said over the last 20 years. They're wrong, and they should know better, and they've peddled their nonsense and lulled the West into this fake sense of security, which the Russians, the Iranians, the Chinese and others are exploiting. Steven Pinker's a great example of it, but there's others out there. Okay, war ain't going away. The takeaway is you're not going to be out of a job anytime soon. Okay. But we've also seen in Ukraine how different kinds of sensors, not just military sensors, but commercial exploitation of social media, have really compressed the detection to destruction time. When I was a brigade commander, we used to work on 10 minutes. If you saw a UAV, it was like, get out or you're dead in 10. It's not that anymore. I'm talking as short, in some instances in Ukraine, 90 seconds. That's not the norm, that has happened, but the norm, 3 to 5 minutes you've got to work on now. If you think you've been detected, you've got 3 to 5 minutes. All right, new age of mass. There's a whole lot of people who are saying we'll never see mass tank battles again. You know, tanks are dead. You've been hearing this idiotic narrative out of these twits in Canberra and Melbourne. You know, you'll never see massed force-on-force, peer-on-peer battles again. Now, clearly, that was never true, because in war, no idea ever disappears. They always come back. That's just how humans fight. We reach into the grab bag of ideas from the last 1,000 years and pick the one that works for us. So mass is back, but it's not the kind of mass our grandfathers and great-grandfathers would recognise. Mass is generated not by crude systems alone. It's generated by crude and uncrewed systems in all the domains and the conduct of mass influence operations, and I'll talk about those shortly. The fight for influence. The reality is, violence and influence have always been two sides of a coin. And it doesn't matter whether you're a platoon leader, company commander, battle group commander, brigade commander, division, national leader. Influence is a really important part of your job. There's lots of ways you can do it. Sometimes the best way to influence that person is to shoot that one. It doesn't have to be clever algorithms or leaflet drops. Your job, regardless of where you are, is always this balance of violence and influence. The things that have changed now is that the ability to recognise and then divide up target populations and then target them very precisely with tuned messages is unprecedented in human history. And then to be able to measure the impact. We can do that in a way now that has never existed before. Right. So I'll finish up with just some observations, what I think you might take from this, how you might think as a combined arms team leader or planner or member. Firstly, this is really important for lots of reasons, not just about combined arms team leading. But remember, you're a professional. Okay, this ain't 9 to 5, and this is something that if you're going to do, you've got to be the best at. Okay, be best in the world at this. Okay, as I'll say in a later slide, there are no silver medals in this. There's gold medal or you're dead.